you look at the companies who are spending the most money, and they're not the good guys. The people who really are shelling out money to MPs come from very specific lobbies.
That was Ian Hislop talking about lobbying groups in politics. They're not the good guys, he said, so it's interesting to see this article from DeSmog, a group dedicated to clearing the PR pollution that's clouding the science and solutions to climate change, exposing the fact that Reform have received £2.3 million in donations from fossil fuel interests, climate deniers and polluters since the 2019 election, which is actually over 90% of all of Reform donations. Perhaps that's why Richard Tice took this stance on climate change when on Question Time recently.
So, Richard, the question is, what do we need to do to combat climate change?
Yeah, and look, we all care about the environment, but the climate has changed for millions and millions of years. That's the reality, way before man-made CO2 emissions. And
so let's just be clear. Are you denying that climate change has changed exponentially quickly in relatively recent years because
the climate
of
has
man-made
always changed, and if we look at the IPCC...
So no, hang on, so answer my question.
Sorry.
The question is, are you saying that this is just a natural course of events and that man has nothing to do with it?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, yes, we've had man-made CO2 emissions for about 200 years, and there's no question that's contributed towards it, but there's no evidence at all that if you get to net zero to get to net zero where there's no evidence, it will stop climate change.
Richard, and the countries that are going to be underwater, how do they adapt?
No one's going to be able to... So let's take an example, shall we? So you've got to be smart about this, adapt to climate change.
It might kill their tourism industry. I hate to say it, the Maldives. You only put defences around the beaches, but just
it's called reclamation, and they've built some extra land, and they've reclaimed land, and you've had siltation. That's how it happened. So you've got to adapt to climate change as opposed to thinking you can stop it.
Can I ask Richard a question? What's your science background? What makes you think that you understand how climate change works better than all of the world's scientific experts combined?
There are plenty of scientists.
There's a link to the DeSmog article in the video description below. Click here to see Farage being interviewed by both Mateless and Koonsberg.